business environment. Implementing risk assessment measures and procedures require significant discipline and commitment by the organization. The capability to do this is often a product of the organization's overall level of maturity, as defined by capability and maturity modeling, and evaluated by ISAC through the COBIT framework. ISAC auditors will evaluate the organization against the following control objectives: whether the organization has a business risk assessment, that's the framework, the risk assessment of a number of levels, reassessments, and whether it undertakes information updates. The risk assessment approach, whether the organization establishes a general risk assessment approach which defines the scope and boundaries, the methodology to be adopted for risk assessments, and the responsibilities and the required skills. Risk identification, whether the organization has cause-effect relationships, qualitative and quantitative risk rankings, and risk classifications. Whether the organization undertakes risk measurement, that's measurement of risk exposure, assessments of risk acceptance capacities. Whether the organization has risk action plan, that's a cost-effective controls and security measures, risk strategies in terms of avoidance, mitigation, or acceptance. Whether the organization undertakes risk acceptance, formal acceptance of residual risk offset by insurance contractual liabilities. Whether the organization undertakes safeguarding the selection, the control systems, surveillance, prevention, whether it does detection and correction and recovery measures. And lastly, the risk assessment commitment, whether this is an important tool in the design and implementation as well as the monitoring and evaluation mechanisms. COBIT provides descriptions of organizations against these control objectives for different levels of organizational maturity. At the non-existent level, there is little awareness of external requirements that affect IT, with no process regarding compliance with regulatory, legal, and contractual requirements. At an initial ad hoc level, risk assessment for processes and business decisions does not occur. The organization does not consider the business impacts associated with security vulnerabilities and with development project uncertainties. Risk management has not been identified as relevant to acquiring IT solutions and delivering IT service. At a repeatable but intuitive level, the organization is aware of its legal and contractual responsibilities and liabilities, but considers IT risks in an ad hoc manner without following defined processes or policies. Informal assessments of project risk take place as determined by each project. Risk assessments are not likely to be identified specifically within a project plan or to be assigned to specific managers involved in the project. IT management does not specify responsibility for risk management in job descriptions or other informal means. Specific IT-related risks such as security, availability, and integrity are occasionally considered on a project-by-project basis. IT-related risks affecting day-to-day operations are infrequently discussed at management meetings, and where risk has been considered, mitigation is inconsistent. At a defined level, an organization-wide risk management policy defines when and how to conduct risk assessments. Risk assessment follows a defined process that is documented and available to all staff through training. Decisions to follow the process and to receive training are left to the individual's discretion. The methodology is convincing and sound and ensures that key risks to the business are likely to be identified. Decisions to follow the process are left to individual IT managers, and there's no procedure to ensure that all projects are covered or that ongoing operation is examined for risk on a regular basis. At a managed and measurable level, the assessment of risk is a standard procedure, and exceptions to following the procedures would be noticed by IT management. It is likely that IT risk management is a defined management function with senior level responsibility. The process is advanced and risk is assessed at the individual project level and also regularly with regard to the overall IT operation. Management is advised on changes in the IT environment which could significantly affect the risk scenarios, such as an increased threat from the network or technical trends that affect the soundness of the IT strategy. Management is able to monitor the risk position and make informed decisions regarding the exposure it is willing to accept. Senior management and IT management have determined the levels of risk that the organization will tolerate and have standard measures for risk-return ratios. Management budgets for operational risk management process to reassess risks on a regular basis. A risk management database is established. Very mature organizations perform risk management at an optimized level. Here, the risk assessment has developed to the stage where a structured organization-wide